Horseshoe crabs are ancient creatures that have existed for over 450 million years, making them one of the oldest living species on Earth. Despite their name, horseshoe crabs are not true crabs but are more closely related to spiders, scorpions, and other arachnids. The name Xiphosaura is derived from the Greek word xiphos, meaning sword, and ura, meaning tail, referring to the long, sword-like tail or telson found on the horseshoe crab's abdomen. The telson is used for steering and helps the horseshoe crab to right itself if it gets flipped over. Horseshoe crabs are mainly found in shallow coastal waters of the Atlantic Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico, particularly along the eastern coast of North America and in Southeast Asia. They are known for their annual spawning events, where large numbers of horseshoe crabs gather on beaches to lay their eggs. These creatures play a crucial ecological role as they serve as a food source for various species, including migratory shorebirds. In addition, horseshoe crabs have a unique blue-colored blood that contains a substance called Limulus amebocyte lysate, which is used in the biomedical industry to test for bacterial contamination in medical equipment and vaccines. Despite their long evolutionary history and ecological significance, horseshoe crabs face various threats, including habitat loss, overharvesting, and pollution. Efforts are being made to conserve and protect these ancient creatures to ensure their survival in the face of these challenges. The most prominent feature of horseshoe crabs is their hard carapace, which is horseshoe-shaped and covers the majority of their body. The carapace is typically brown or greenish-brown in color and has a rough texture. At the rear end of the horseshoe crab's body, they have a long, pointed tail-like structure called a telson. The telson is often referred to as a sword tail due to its shape. It helps the horseshoe crab with balance and allows it to right itself if it becomes overturned. Horseshoe crabs have 10 eyes located on their carapace. These eyes are compound in nature and are spread across the surface of the carapace. They are relatively simple and mainly detect light and movement rather than providing detailed vision. Horseshoe crabs have multiple pairs of legs used for locomotion and feeding. They have 5 pairs of legs in total, with the first pair being large and pincer-like. The other 4 pairs are smaller and primarily used for walking. Horseshoe crabs have a pair of specialized appendages called chelicerae, which are located near their mouth. The chelicerae are used for crushing and grinding food. They also have additional mouthparts called pedipalps, which help manipulate and transport food to the mouth. The size of horseshoe crabs is typically measured from the tip of the telson, tail, to the front of the carapace. The common horseshoe crab species found along the Atlantic coast of North America, Limulus polyphemus, can range from about 25 to 50 centimeters in length. Larger species, such as the mangrove horseshoe crab, found in Southeast Asia, can reach lengths of up to 60 centimeters or more. Horseshoe crabs are not particularly heavy creatures. Their weight can vary depending on the size and species. On average, adult horseshoe crabs weigh between 0.9 to 1.8 kilograms. However, some larger individuals can weigh up to 4.5 kilograms or more. Horseshoe crabs have a unique mating ritual that involves mass spawning events. During high tide, usually during the spring or early summer, male and female horseshoe crabs migrate to shallow coastal areas and beaches. Males will latch onto females using specialized appendages called claspers, and the female will lay her eggs in the sand while the male fertilizes them. These spawning events often involve large numbers of horseshoe crabs gathering together. Like other arthropods, horseshoe crabs undergo molting, which is the process of shedding their old exoskeleton and growing a new one. During molting, horseshoe crabs become vulnerable and may bury themselves in the sand for protection. After molting, the newly emerged horseshoe crab will have a soft exoskeleton that gradually hardens over time. Horseshoe crabs possess an impressive ability to orient themselves and navigate. They use a combination of vision, touch, and chemical cues to find their way in their habitat. They can detect changes in light and are particularly sensitive to the moon's phases, which helps them time their spawning migrations. Horseshoe crabs are proficient burrowers. They dig burrows in sandy or muddy substrates using their legs and specialized appendages. Burrowing helps them find shelter, regulate their body temperature, and protect themselves from predators and environmental conditions. Horseshoe crabs are influenced by tides, and their behavior can vary accordingly. They often come closer to shore during high tide for spawning and feeding activities, while during low tide, they may retreat to deeper waters or bury themselves in the sand. When threatened, horseshoe crabs exhibit defensive behaviors. They can use their sharp tail to flip themselves over if they get overturned. Additionally, they may curl their bodies and use their legs and spines for protection against predators. Horseshoe crabs are not known for their speed and agility. They are generally slow-moving creatures that are better adapted for crawling along the ocean floor rather than swift swimming. Horseshoe crabs have a large and heavy exoskeleton, which can limit their mobility and speed. Their body design is more suitable for stability and protection rather than fast movement. Horseshoe crabs have 5 pairs of legs, and their walking legs are relatively short and stout. While they can move their legs in a coordinated manner, their gait is more of a slow and steady crawl rather than a rapid scuttle. Horseshoe crabs feed on different types of mollusks, including clams and mussels and snails. They use their specialized mouthparts, called chelicerae and pedipalps, to crush and grind the shells of these mollusks and consume the soft tissues inside. Horseshoe crabs also consume various types of worms. This includes marine worms like polychaetes, which are commonly found in sandy or muddy substrates. They use their mouthparts to grasp and feed on these worm species. Small crustaceans, such as amphipods and small crabs, are part of the horseshoe crab's diet. They scavenge for these crustaceans in the sediment and capture them using their pincer-like first pair of legs. Horseshoe crabs are known to consume algae and other forms of detritus present in their habitat. They sift through the sediments, using their mouthparts, to filter out and ingest organic matter, including decaying plant material and microorganisms. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for even more viewing pleasure. Don't forget, like and comment. Feel free to share.